Hi there, my name is Cudabear. I've been playing RuneScape on and off for about 16 years now. During that time I've had lots of different kinds of restricted accounts, but I've never played an unrestricted main since 2011. That will change today. My goal is to build my new account to endgame content as fast as possible via routing and macro efficiency. Are you ready to jump in? Let's continue with Macroefficient main. Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 3 of Macroefficient main. I have no idea what's going on with my sleeves, but this wasn't happening before I left on vacation, so it's either a RuneScape bug or a RuneLite bug, and I don't really care to find out which. So you'll just have to stare at my horribly pixelated and polygonal arms for the time being. In the last episode, we did questing, and in this episode, we're doing questing. But interestingly enough, while I was away, the order of quests on the Optimal Quest guide actually changed quite a bit, and the changes that were made there were a little bit interesting, and actually I tend to agree with pretty much all of them. So thank you to whoever made those changes. I do think that the quest guide itself was lacking a little bit, and I was planning to make some changes myself, but I pretty much see all the changes I was planning to make, so that's been really cool. Before we jump in, I did get a useful suggestion from one of you guys. Thank you so much for suggesting it. The combat bracelet, I didn't even think about buying this, but it's extremely useful, as not only does it have some pretty good teleports, it also has some really great combat stats, very equivalent to, I think, Mithril Gloves from Recipe for Disaster, which isn't something we'll be getting for a long time, so definitely worth picking up and equipping now. I also went ahead and bought some Wizard Boots, as they're really cheap now. It doesn't give a lot of stats, only +4 magic, but I figured since I'm not wearing anything in my boot slot, I'll just equip them now. It's not like I really need the magic accuracy, but I may as well equip them. And also they're really ugly with the Zeretian robes, but whatever. So the first one that was moved on the list is actually Dork's quest. And this is the perfect example of a quest that there's really no reason not to do it super early on. However, the way the quest guide was ordered before optimized for experience rewards so hard that it didn't put it until you absolutely had no other choice for mining experience. But because it's so easy, you just turn in some ore to Doric, you might as well just get it done super early and get the experience reward. It takes just a few seconds. 1300 mining experience for that, which is very nice and useful. And in line with the quest that you just turn in some items for, here's Sheep Shearer, which is a nice little crafting experience boost as well. I just bought the Balls of Wool from the Grand Exchange. There's no reason to spin them yourself. There we go. 150 crafting experience for that one. Not a whole lot, but it's still pretty useful. Alright, so next is Mistlan Mystery, which is actually a pretty nice quest. It was released initially as a holiday event, but because people enjoyed it so much, it was put into the game as a permanent quest. And the nice thing about it is it actually gives you a little bit of a crafting boost for an early game quest that has no requirements. So I'll be doing that now. Okay, here's the end of Mistlan Mystery. Another 600 crafting experience, which is a nice boost. Without even training crafting, I'm already up to level 25. Alright, next is another very straightforward one, Romeo and Juliet. This one doesn't actually give any rewards. It does give 5 quest points, which is a lot of quest points, especially for an easy quest. But there's no real reason to do it other than that. But at least it's a pretty quick one. There's Romeo and Juliet. Really quick and easy. On to the next one. And that one will be Pirate's Treasure. Another really easy and straightforward quest. Let's get knocked out of the way. Whoops, kind of flew right by the quest complete screen there, but that's Pirate's Treasure done. Nice and easy. Alright, next one is one that's not going to be quite so easy. Actually, a little bit more annoying. On to Sheep Herder. This spot is literally the worst. I hate when I get him there by accident. You can't get him out till he walks. Oh god, I think he might be stuck now. I think he's trying to go home. No. Uh... The main problem with this quest is after you prod each sheep, there's a random timer that determines how long it'll be before they decide to start walking home again. And it can be as little as like 0 ticks. So it can immediately start walking home at the moment after you prod it. So you really have to be on top of where you are in terms of direction. Hey, what? Jeez. In terms of where you're trying to prod it. And the other annoying part about that timer is it can also be like a full minute. So there's like no indication of how long you're actually going to have to line up your next poke. Such a frustrating quest. So this one's definitely not super critical to do early on, but it's nice to get out of the way. And if you were doing this without buying a bond where money was an issue, that 3,100 coins can be extremely helpful to help you keep going. Alright, back to free-to-play area, and we're going to do Prince Ali Rescue. Alright, there's Prince Ali Rescue. Actually, I forgot to record the first half of the quest, so sorry about that. But now we're going to be onto a quest that I actually haven't done yet before, which is Below Ice Mountain. Actually just came out very recently. Let's go get it done. I also just realized this whole time I've had the Macroefficient plugin on because I was using the 20th year cape shooting some footage for Time Traveler, and I never actually equipped my Ardoin cape that I earned in the last episode, so oops. Alright, that's into Below Ice Mountain. I didn't actually realize that you don't actually really explore the underground dungeon area in this quest, you just kind of gain access. So I'll have to come back and check this out some other time, I've never actually done it before. But for now, that's the end of the quest, and I can move on to the next one. Actually, we're going to start the Dorgeshen quest line, which will be really useful as I'll be able to get my hands on a bone crossbow. So let's go do that. So before we start the next quest, just took a detour here to trade Sino, who gave me 6,000 wizard mind bombs. This was actually a thing that he suggested that I collect an item from you guys, so looks like it's going to be wizard mind bombs. So if you're interested in adding to the collection, I will just go ahead and keep it in the bank, and we'll see how far it can go. I'll just make its own little tab here. This will be a fun little collection idea. Just give me a PM in game if you want to contribute. Okay, so that's the end of the Lost Tribe. On to Death to the Dorgeshen. So before we can actually do that, though, I do need to take a very small detour and just knock out 18 agility, as I need 23 for the quest, but it can be boosted with a summer pie. I don't know if there's a faster place to do agility this early on than the Draenor rooftops. There probably is, but since it's only 4 levels and it'll only take a few minutes, I'm not necessarily feeling up to researching it. The marks of grace you get from agility early on really don't make a big difference. I know a lot of people always like to try to rush graceful. It is a very handy unlock, but it also doesn't necessarily make or break your account early on. It basically just saves you money on staminas in the end, because once you have stamina doses, you can run forever, regardless of whether or not you're using graceful. It's pretty much just a convenience factor, so I'm not necessarily doing this just to rush marks of grace or anything. I'll obviously pick up any that I happen to get, but there's really no reason to rush it, so I will be here for a little while. It just struck me that I can actually just use summer pies to boost to do the Alcred course. There's no reason to stay at Draenor past 15, so I did 1 lap of Draenor, hooray! Alright, and just like that, 18 agility achieved. So with the summer pies, I'll be able to get all the way up to 23 required for the quest. Let's go ahead and get it done. So I got a little eager and I dropped all my ham sets on the ground, but I still need them. So don't do that. Make sure you hold on to it till the very end. Alright, there's Death to the Dorgashin, which is a very notable quest as it's the first batch of ranging experience I'll have. So all the way up to 13 range just from that, which is really cool. The other nice thing about this quest is it allows you to buy and use the bone crossbow. You can buy this from the Grand Exchange as well. I'll pick up one here, but buy some ammunition from the Grand Exchange later. It's super nice to have because it's pretty powerful and the ammunition is basically free. It's so cheap. So very useful unlock to have. So I actually have one more detour before the next quest. I have to go get Hosidius Favor, which is kind of different, honestly. But it's important because I need to do the Depths of Despair, which gives me an agility experience reward. So I'll need just 20% Hosidius Favor. So let's go do that. Okay, so here we are for a little bit. Just need to push the plows here until I reach 5% favor, which shouldn't take too long. Alright, there's 5% favor. Now I can move on to the sulfurous fertilizer, which I can go make in the bank. So let's do that. Alright, so I actually went ahead and I did the full 950 buckets required to get all the way up to 100% favor. Really only needed like 100 or maybe less to get up to 20%, but I figured it was worth doing the whole batch right now as it really only took like 15 minutes. And the little bit of farming experience that you get from doing that process might be a little bit more useful now than in the future, and I'll explain why that is coming up. It's not a big deal, honestly, but I figured given those factors, it's probably worth just knocking it out real quick. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and do the next quest in the line, which is going to be the Hosidius quest, Depths of Despair. Let's get it done. Oh, by the way, I'm an idiot. I didn't have to do full 950. You get 10% favor for finishing this quest in Hosidius, so I really only had to get up to 90%, which is probably like 850. Not a huge waste of time though, and honestly the ingredients to make that stuff is so cheap that it wasn't that inefficient. Alright, let's get the quest started. So one definitely a little overpowered thing that you can get is there's actually a Xeric Talisman that can be mounted in people's houses. This is something that you would normally have to go out of your way to get, but because you can just access someone's house on a main account, you can use it straight off the bat. I probably should have been using it already, but I just didn't think to until it was time to start this quest, which literally is right here, so that's incredibly convenient. And also there's a train, sorry. Alright, there's Depths of Despair complete. A very nice amount of bonus experience for agility, which is definitely something that you need. And also this favor certificate that I don't really need anymore because I went all the way to 100% pretty inefficiently. I also forgot to mention that these pages you get from these quests are great because it actually puts a teleport into the Cardes Memoirs, which is the book you get for Client of Corand. So I'll be adding this one to the book as well, and hopefully we'll get the rest of them soon. So we're on to the next quest actually, which is going to be Mountain Daughter. Alright, that's the end of Mountain Daughter. Just a small experience reward from this one, but it's always a good one to get knocked out. One cool reward is this bear head actually has really decent magic defense related to it, and it's a pretty cheap thing to reclaim. I think it's only a couple hundred coins from Purdue, or maybe even free if you come all the way back here. I definitely wish that I had better transportation up to this area though. It made this quest a little longer than normal, but I will have access to fairy rings before long. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next quest for the time being, which is actually going to be the Golem, off to the desert. This ordering really has you travel all over the place. It's pretty cool. Whoops, I jumped right past the screen again, but that's the end of the Golem. A little bit of crafting and thieving experience for that one, which is pretty nice. Continuing with the desert theme, we're going to move on to Ichlarin's Little Helper, which will be a nice one to get since it'll allow me to access Pyramid Plunder. Alright, I actually forgot that you need high energy to pass the agility obstacle in this quest, so I didn't have enough stamina potions on me to do the whole quest while running, so definitely one to bring a couple extra potions for. But the nice thing about this one is it gives you a decent bunch of agility experience as well, which tends to be one of the main bottlenecks in these early game quests that I'm noticing. The next one is actually going to be one that most people would typically do much earlier than I have done, and that's the Grand Tree, and that's because it does have a 32 agility requirement. Oh, I was totally reading the wrong number. It's 25 agility for the quest, which is what I remembered. However, you only need 20. You could boost from 20 if you wanted to do it. The 32 agility number is what I'll be after I get the reward for the quest. One cool thing about this quest is if you do the Tree Gnome Village first, you can actually go to the Tree Gnome Stronghold from the Grand Exchange. You just can't go back. So you still have a pretty fast transportation option here. So a mistake I still see a lot of people make on this quest when they go to Safe Spot the Demon is that they try to run behind the rocks to the south, but you don't even really have to do that. All you have to do is take one step to the west, so you're standing next to the ladder, and it's a much more effective and easier to get to Safe Spot. Let me show you what I mean. I totally messed it up. Oh well. Okay, that was what was supposed to happen. And it's a couple more steps west, but it's like pretty much against this wall right here. I guess it's also north, not west. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ignore me. Okay, that's the end of the Grand Tree. Another very critical quest on our journey, as not only does it have a very nice experience reward, it also means we have all the requirements to do Monkey Madness, which is another very iconic and very crucial quest. I don't think it's on the list for a while, though, but it'll be great to do that. But that is actually where we're going to go ahead and leave this episode off. However, before we go, I do think we're due for one gear upgrade, or maybe a side grade, depending on how you look at it. One of the unlocks I was able to obtain passively through all of our questing by doing the low alchemy spell as I was running around is I got all the way up to 44 magic. 40 plus magic is notable, as it allows you to equip mystic robes. However, I'm not going to go ahead and get mystic robes. I'm going to grab these vestment robes instead. They are very important because they give a huge prayer bonus, and in a lot of the upcoming quests we're going to be praying against most of the bosses. They do have a decreased magic accuracy overall, but I do think that's worth it for the prayer bonus. It's plus 15, plus 16 prayer even over the Zeration robes at the cost of minus 11 magic attack. So no big deal, honestly. One tip when purchasing any god-themed equipment in this game is that there are 6 gods. Generally speaking, Zeros and Guthic's equipment tends to be on the cheaper side, as it doesn't provide any bonus against aggression in God Wars Dungeon. The other 4 do, so it's generally important to avoid those if you want to save some cash and not planning on doing God Wars. So I bought Guthic's here as it seemed to be the cheapest. I also like the green. So all that said, we're going to go ahead and leave off here. Thank you so much for watching, and moreover, thanks for all the love and kind support I've received on this series so far. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined that a series would take off like this, and I'm just so excited to keep making content for everyone. If you've enjoyed the series so far, make sure to leave a like, give me a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more like it. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I will see you in the next one.